welcome back to the Cool Fear channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on the channel is 10 for adult collectors and not children. And welcome to episode 67 of Coffee and Toys, guys. As always, we will go over this week's channel updates, this week's toy haul, this week's toy news, and so much more. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. If you do enjoy this video or any other videos that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. With all that being said, guys, once again, welcome to episode 67 of Coffee and Toys, guys. Shout out and thank you to channel sponsor Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate link down in the description below to check out all types of cool figures as well as help support the channel. 67, guys. Man, we are getting up there in episode numbers. Soon we'll be at 70, then 80. The next thing you know it, episode 100 will be upon us. I wonder what we can do for episode 100 if we ever do happen to reach that number. I feel like that's definitely a milestone to celebrate. 100 episodes of something that you've continuously done. No, it hasn't been every single week consecutively because there's been times where I've been away from my studio and my stuff. But, I mean, considering, 67 episodes right here, I mean, we'd be a lot further had I not been working that one stupid fucking job. But it allowed me to buy some stuff and, add some figures to the collection, which we'll talk about more in a bit. But, yeah. 67 episodes, guys, and I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you. I mean, a lot of people like to celebrate, the big milestones like the 100, the 80s, stuff like that, but random episode 67, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy day to watch this podcast, to listen to me talk about toy news, and basically ramble on about the same stuff that a lot of bigger toy YouTubers already rambled on about. So I appreciate you coming here to listen to my 2 cents about what's going on in the toy collecting community. So no real channel updates besides kind of a display studio kind of update. Our wall of DTOFs is complete. As you can see, we do have 4 fully lit, fully ready to go DTOFs. I do have 3 cubes open for expansion, and my dumbass has already pretty much filled up 2 of them in my mind, and so that really only leaves me with 1. But I'm pretty content with what I have here. It gives me enough space to collect what I want and what I love, but not overly collect. I have an end. Like my Sam Raimi and my cartoon Spidey, they're done. I'm not gonna add anything else to them. There's no need to add anything else to this collection right here. If they came out with like a comic Doc Ock, then yeah, I would definitely add him to the comic collection right here. But as it stands, there's really no 1/6 scale comic style Spider-Man villains that I can add to this collection at the time. So for the time being, it's pretty much complete. The only other one that is technically complete would probably be my comic Batman collection on the very bottom shelf. Unless they were to release a comic style Bane in 1/6 scale, then I would look to be adding him there. I think in terms of Snyderverse, I'm pretty content with what I have. I wanted to get the third-party Darkseid 1/6 scale figure, but I just know what that's going to lead me to do. It's going to lead me to buy a Wonder Woman in the Snyderverse. It's going to lead me to buy an Aquaman. And it's just like, I don't need that. I just want Superman. I just want Batman. And it's going to make me want to buy a standard Batman as well, which those ones aren't the cheapest either. But in this cube right here, I still need to buy, I'm already pre-ordered the Riddler, the Jim Carrey Riddler. But once the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face is available, I'll also pre-order that. But those 2 will kind of take up that space right there. And that'll pretty much be it for my Batman Forever and Snyderverse display right there. In terms of my Arkham, gotta add Joker, gotta add Harley. And I may get a Batman Arkham Asylum suit. So we'll see. And so there's stuff to add to each and every single one of them, but for the most part, some of them are complete. Well, less than some of them, I guess you would say. But yeah, slowly adding to it and slowly completing the collection because there is an end goal, at least to this right here. I think I've actually almost even reached my end goal for 1/12 scale collecting. Not completely, like I'm still open to collecting new figures and stuff, as we will definitely talk about in this week's toy news. However, I find myself passing on more and more general offerings, stuff that I'm like, okay, well, I have representation of that. I don't really need that, it's just stuff like that. But then, as you will see, as we will discuss later on, there are going to be certain things that I'm like, okay, that's something that you can't pass on. That's something that's, unique, that's cool, that's compatible with other stuff. So, there's different layers and tiers to this. But yeah, only real channel update is that we have completed the background. Now, I don't think I can fit any more D-tops in this room, to be honest. I mean, maybe one more if I really wanted to just cover my window and really have no fire escape choices. But yeah, at this point, I'm at my capacity, and I know you can't see it in frame, but up above is starting to become just a quarter scale collection. So far, I would say almost just past half, maybe 55% of the 4D tops on the top are quarter scales, and technically it could be 75% because I do have two other quarter scales that aren't necessarily up there, and when I do get one more, it's going to go somewhere else, so it could be completely full. And I'm really thinking of doing that for the top section, just making it all quarter scale, at least in the back part and in the front. I'm going to put some smaller stuff that is larger, but also not so large that it covers the quarter scales. But it's pretty much turned into a quarter scale thing. If I can remember while I'm editing, I'll try and film a video of the top so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, and kind of overlay it as B-roll. But yeah, guys, with that being said, Mando Season 3 has begun, guys. I'm not going to say anything to spoil it. I just want to talk about it, my general thoughts about the first episode, because a lot was being said leading up to and after it premiered. So the first thing being that it was only a 30-minute first episode, and man oh man was it. So in total the episode was 38 minutes, but we all know with these streaming services, for some reason the last 8 to 10 minutes is always just credits. And so yeah, we got a 30-minute season opener, and I feel like this was for a number of reasons. And I do want to apologize if I start to sound a little congested. My allergies have been kicking my ass, and right now my sinuses just closed up real fast. I don't know why, but so I may sound a little nasally at this point, so I do want to apologize for that. But a lot of people were not happy with episode 1, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look back to season 1 and season 2, episode 1 ended with such humongous cliffhangers, guys. Like, just absolute bangers of cliffhangers. Think about it. Episode 1 of season 1, we were introduced to Grogu, but not really introduced to Grogu because we just saw the Prim floating there and he was like reaching out to him. We thought IG had terminated the subject, but it turned out that Mando ended up saving him. So that was something that was just like, whoa, what the fuck is going to go on? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And so that was just such a huge episode. And then going to season 2, we got the tease of the return of Boba Fett. So that was another huge, landmine episode, just such a big cliffhanger. Like, when are we going to see the return of the actual Boba Fett? And so the way season 3 opened up was, in my opinion, a reminder episode, reminding us of who Din Djarin is as a character. It was very Mandalorian of an episode. From the opening scene, from when we see the entire Mandalorian clan together doing what they're doing, and then we get to see all the weapons that they have, that they've developed throughout years of fighting against the Jedi, that they now utilize for anything and everything whenever they're doing their jobs. And then we see Mando being Mando. We just see him come in and fuck shit up as always. We see some old friends. We kind of return to old places that have been renewed, and we learn that these old places have been renewed. And once again, we see Mando being Mando and just being a badass. We get some setup for the season, obviously, and then it kind of just ends. And so I feel like that's why a lot of people had mixed reactions slash feelings about this first episode of season 3, aside from it being just 30 minutes. I personally thought they were going to give us 2 episodes because it was so short, but they didn't. So I mean, it is what it is, but I feel like it was just a reminder episode. After 2 years of being away, we were being reintroduced to this character that did make an appearance in Book of Boba Fett, but now we're shifting our focus back to this character, and we should remember who he is. And even though they did play up his kind of fatherly characteristics in this one in certain parts and aspects, but I mean, he's been with Grogu for 3 seasons at this point, so it makes sense that he would have developed that fatherly bond with him, and he's going to be acting a little more fatherly, a little more open, much like in The Last of Us, like when Joel and Ellie have been traveling for so long. When they first meet, they're very closed off to each other, but then as time goes on, they open up and they start sharing more and more with each other. Well, same thing here. I mean, and ironically enough, it's the same actor in Pedro Pascal. So yeah, I am super excited to see what this season of Mando has in store for us. I just hope we get a decently long season if they're going to be giving us this short of episodes. Like, I'll take 14 30-minute episodes over 8 to 10 1.5 hour ones. I'll take the 14 to 20. Obviously they're not going to do that, and I don't even think they do 14 because that's just way too many. But either way, what I'm saying is, if you're going to give us a shorter runtime, you got to offset it by giving us more episodes. So with that being said, guys, not much else to talk about this week. That was pretty much the big news. Mando was coming back. Nothing in the movies for me personally, not till next week when Scream, 6 comes out. I am hyped for that. I was really impressed by the way they handled Scream 5, being a reintroduction to the franchise, and what happened in it and everything. I'm good, but I'm really excited to see how they handle number 6, so I'm super excited to see that. But yeah, guys, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about this week's toy haul? And it is, of course, another addition to my quarter scale collection. So when I first got into quarter scales, it was just the turtles. I was like, I'm just gonna get the 4 turtles: Mikey, Leo, Raph, and Donnie. That's it. No more, no less. Then I got a deal with, I think it was Donnie and Shredder on eBay, and I was just like, I really don't want Shredder, but if I have Shredder, he'll look really good next to the turtles. And so I was like, fuck it, if you'll give me a good deal on both of these, I'll take them both. And then I was like, okay, Shredder's enough. You don't need anything else. And then I came across a really good fucking deal on a Foot Ninja on eBay, surprisingly enough, and it was just too good to pass up. It was like, I think close to like $60. I mean, it was used, but in great condition, pretty much brand new. So I jumped on that, and they even threw in free shipping because I was in the same state. And now my sinuses are really, really, really closing up for some reason. So I apologize if that's making things sound a little bit different here. But yeah, so after that, I was like, okay, no more quarter scales. I don't need it. And then I saw the Heath Ledger one, and I was like, crap, I may need it. Honestly, he was pretty pricey at the time, but NECA then went and found some in the back, and I still passed on him at that time. And then after I passed on him, I had the want to add him to my collection, and so I figured if I'm gonna buy a quarter scale Batman, because, oh yeah, I forgot, I had already decided I was gonna buy a quarter scale Batman from NECA because I love Batman, and so I figured if I'm gonna be getting a quarter scale Batman, why not get a quarter scale Joker? That's one thing that I do like about these quarter scales is that they at least have some kind of companion piece. Not exact because in the Ledger Joker and Dark Knight trilogy, they only have the Batman Begins suit. And so I'm not a big fan of that one versus the Dark Knight suit. And on top of that, he doesn't wear the Batman Begins suit when he goes up against Ledger. So I decided to just buy the Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight one and put one of them up next to Ledger. And so right now I only have the Arkham Origins one. Eventually I will add the Arkham Knight one. And so this guy became one out of necessity to add because I think it was last week that I had his dad on the table for $5. Or no, it was the week previous to that I had his dad on here for $5, guys. I was looking online for other quarter scales and stuff like that. I was actually looking for a good deal on this guy, I'll be honest. I know I said I bought this guy out of necessity, but I was actually kind of looking at prices for this guy when I came across his dad. And so after I bought him for $5, I was like, well, obviously now I got to get Jack. And so I got him for a really great price too. A lot of people wanted $200 for this Jack. I was able to get him for $50. So that was a really good price. Obviously not as good as his dad, $5, but didn't have to shell out extra $150 for him, so I'm happy about that. He didn't come new in box, but he was new in box, so apparently the box was just super damaged, and so the guy just took him out. He still had all the twist ties and rubber bands on him and stuff, and this guy is so old, from 2004 I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That's what, yeah, 2004, guys. The rubber bands were disintegrated, so as soon as I went to kind of stretch it off, it just fell apart to pieces and stuff like that. So he does have the voice thing, and it was switched on to on, but yeah, I doubt that actually works still. But like I told him, I don't care if the voice thing works. I wanted him for display purposes and stuff like that. So yeah, we have quarter scale Jack Sparrow now to the collection, which is oddly enough a lot similar to the Hot Toys than you would expect. And I'm not saying in terms of look and detailing and all that stuff. I'm just saying mine is displayed with the hat and the gun and a bottle of rum in his hand. This one comes with a sword. However, much like with Leonardo, they're very thin plastics, and I'm afraid that if he topples over, he will break it. So I'd much rather display him with the gun and the bottle of rum in his hand instead. And so he does come with his hat as well, but I've decided to go ahead and display him without the hat since my Hot Toys does display with the hat. I would have much preferred a bit of a different look. Well, I mean, obviously I could always change the Hot Toys one. I mean, he comes with all sorts of great accessories, but I just love him in that pose the way he is. And so also I'll be adding a third party Barbossa, and they just announced Will Turner as well, so he'll be getting 2 other companion pieces in there with him. And actually the Barbossa is one of them that I'm actually going to be ordering pretty soon, along with a 1/6 scale Top Gun Maverick to fit in right here on my 80s display. I'm also going to be doing another one, but that one's probably going to be on the back burner. I may probably wait on that one. But yeah, so this week's toy haul is our quarter scale Jack Sparrow, guys. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about this week's toy news? And man, oh man, is there toy news to talk about, guys, especially with McFarlane and their winter showcase. Literally, guys, I've been writing notes down for McFarlane up into the very last second that I was going to record. In fact, I was going to record and I forgot my notes, and thankfully I did, because when I came back to a message from my friend Robert saying that, well, we'll talk about it in a sec, but let's go ahead and talk about something that was announced last week prior to the showcase that I actually did call. And honestly, I would say give us a Beast Boy that's in regular form, and that is the McFarlane Toys Gold Label Beast Boy. So when he announced that the Build-A-Figure was going to be Beast Boy in the new Titans Wave, I said, that's great, that's awesome, but it'd be really cool if we also had a non-mutated form of Beast Boy, just to have him in regular standard form for if you just want the team kind of chilling together, not doing action shots or action stuff. And lo and behold, what did he announce the very next day on Saturday after I had finished filming this? Gold Label Beast Boy. And so, yeah, we are getting a non-mutated form of Beast Boy in the Gold Label. All right, so with that news out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the showcase news. So before we get into the stuff that I do want to talk about, he did announce some anime stuff and some Warner Brothers statues, part of their 100-year celebration. Stuff that I'm not really too interested in. The only two statues that I was interested in really is the Harry Potter one and the Bugs Bunny one. But even then, easy passes for me unless I find them for like $5 each. And even then, I'd probably just end up gifting the Harry Potter one to my friend. And I'd probably keep the Bugs Bunny one though. That one's pretty cool. But yeah, so now let's talk about the good shit. The DC Multiverse and Spawn reveals for the showcase. So let's go ahead and start off with Spawn, McFarlane's own creation, of course, and he has announced a new wave of Spawn figures, which honestly, a lot of the times look absolutely phenomenal. I don't pay full price for my Spawn figures. The only one I ever paid full price for was Gunslinger, and the rest I wait till they go on sale / clearance. And fun fact, if you try to use a Target coupon for toys on NECA or McFarlane, it won't go through, guys. It's considered collectibles, not toys. So that whole buy one get one free or buy two get the third free, like, it won't apply to it. It sucks. One time I had one of those coupons. I tried to buy like 3 Spawn figures to get like a really good deal. Yeah, and it just wouldn't do it because it didn't qualify. So just be aware that McFarlane Toys Spawn figures, I don't know about the DC Multiverse figures because they are located in the toy section, but the Spawn figures and the Retro 66 ones are considered collectibles, not toys. So they don't apply to those coupons. But we are getting a medieval Spawn. This looks absolutely beautiful. The sculpting, the detail. I have no idea what it is, no attachment to it, but I can appreciate a really good sculpt when I see it. We are also getting the debut of Monolith in the Spawn Toys line, and this thing is a behemoth. This is one of those figures that makes me want to pick it up just so I can have Batman fight. So yeah, this is definitely one I can see myself picking up down the line once it does hit clearance, because let's be honest, guys, the majority of McFarlane Toy stuff hits clearance 8 times out of 10. There's those rare waves that absolutely just bang and you're not going to find them on shelves. And man, oh man, did he announce one. We'll talk about it. It's coming up. Don't worry. I'm excited to talk about it, but I'm going to hold off my excitement so we can get through this. And so the final Spawn figure that he didn't announce for his winter showcase is Sin, aka Discount Lex Luthor. Yes, guys. I feel like that's essentially where his inspiration came from for this guy, was Lex Luthor in his power suit, just Spawnified, I guess. But yeah, so we are getting him as well. So yeah, that wraps it up for Spawn announcements for McFarlane Toys Winter Showcase 2023. Real quick, let's go ahead and talk about a DC Multiverse figure that wasn't even announced. So it wasn't part of the showcase, but it wasn't even announced either, and that is the Platinum Edition of the Jay Garrett Flash, being found at Walmart. So the regular version has some bright colors, while the Platinum version has a more dulled down. So if you want your Jay Garrett in a darker color tone, head to your local Walmart. So now let's talk about the showcase DC Multiverse reveals, guys. And man, oh man, did Todd come out swinging this time, guys. Man, like, fucking Todd. And the reason I say that is because not only did he show off some really good stuff, but he also didn't show off a lot of really good stuff that we know is going to be coming on the way because of what he showed off. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the Batman. Yes, that is correct, guys. He is not done with the Batman just yet. So we are getting a Riddler puzzle box. Now, obviously, it's not going to be too complicated, or maybe it is. I don't know. It comes with 4 separate puzzles, it says, and you can form a Batarang and do some fun stuff. But for me, what I see is a 1/1 prop replica of a Riddle You know what I mean? You can put it on display and it can be a really cool looking prop display next to your Batman props. And so that's what really intrigues me about it. And that's why I will personally be buying it when it does come. And it says it is slated for spring 2023. So that's right around the corners, guys. If not, pretty much here at the end of this month, right? So next up, he did show off Nightfall Batman. Man, I have been clamoring for a Batman in this color tone since he gave us the year 2 statue, and too little too late, Toddy boy, because I am really selectively out of this line. And seeing as I have plenty Batman, I have Mafex Batman in this color, I have Mezco Batman in this color, hell, I have a 1/6 scale Batman in this color. I don't need Toddy Boys' Batman in this color scale. I do have the year 2 Batman statue as well, so I do technically have this color scheme, but I don't. It's cool looking, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic looking Batman figure. I absolutely love it. I just won't be adding it to my collection unless I can find it for a really good clearance price. Then I might go ahead and pick him up. One that I definitely will not be picking up, despite the great clearance price I may find it on eventually, is the brand new announced Tim Drake as Robin, guys. Yes, you know my hatred of Robin here on this channel, which is pretty weird because my friend Robert absolutely loves Robins, and I just despise him. It makes no sense. Why would Batman be fighting crime with a 12-year-old? It makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense because it's a comic, but Batman is just so much better when he's working alone, in my opinion. But that's just me. He's excited about it, so good for him. I'm happy for him and all you other fans of the Robins. So next up, we are getting a Reign of the Superman wave sometime later this year, and he went ahead and teased it by giving us images of Steel. You guys remember when Shaq was Steel? I think he almost single-handedly destroyed the superhero genre in the movie industry, but thankfully we got away from that and we got out of it and we were able to recover, and now we have phenomenal superhero films from the late 90s all the way up until I guess No Way Home was really good. I'm hoping The Flash is really good. But talking about The Flash, I really wish I would have brought up something else before this, but okay, I guess we gotta stick with this. Sticking with Superman at this point, he did also show off Hush Superman. So he has already released a gold label Hush Superman. That is pretty rare out there, I'll admit, because even on OfferUp is going for like $50-$60, where he has the poison ivy tentacles around him, he has the poison ivy eyes and everything. But here it's the standard Hush Superman, so that looks really cool. But once again, I don't need another Superman in my collection. I have the classic Superman, I have the Dark Knight Returns Superman, I have the 2 Henry Cavill Superman, and now I have the new Mezco one coming my way. So I'm really good on Superman at this point. He's not even that big of a person in my collection, in my wants. So one Superman is plenty for me, and I have more than one at this point. So I'm good on that, but it still looks like a phenomenal Superman in the McFarlane Toys line. But now let's talk about some really fun stuff, guys, and that is because he made some announcements regarding the Flash movie. So he did show off 2 new 12-inch statues in the DC Multiverse line, and that is, of course, the Flash, which we'll see right here. Take a look at it real quick. And now, the one that everybody definitely cares about is Michael Keaton Batman. Yes, we are getting a 12-inch DC Multiverse statue of 89 Batman. In the first image, it doesn't really look like Keaton, but in the second one, it definitely has a, older Keaton likeness. It definitely has an older Keaton likeness. So super awesome, super excited about that Batman statue, and I'll be picking that one up. But the thing that's going to be having the toy world in absolute hysteria is his announcement of It's kind of the 89, but it's also the reimagined 89 Batman Batmobile for the Flash movie. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a 1/7 scale Batman 89 Batmobile in the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. This will be the first Batmobile in this scale, like actual Batmobile, not Batmobeast, not Little Raptor, but an actual Batmobile that he's done in the 1/7 scale line. You know, we all know this, that the line is 1/7 scale. It's not really true 1/12 scale. And I keep saying 1/7 scale. I don't know why I keep saying 1/7 scale. I just don't know what the ratio is, because we all know multiverse is huge. It definitely is not a 1/12 line. It's definitely, 7 inches. And so if 1/9 scale is 9 inches, I assume 1/7 scale is, I don't know. I don't know scales, guys, but it's coming in the DC Multiverse line. So your DC Multiverse figures will be able to fit into that Batmobile, which is just absolutely exciting to think about, guys. So, yeah, that wraps it up for McFarlane Toys, at least to this point that I'm recording the show. I'm sure Friday afternoon and Saturday day we'll have plenty more reveals, which we will come back and talk about next week. But as of right now, up until the filming of this point, that is all the news from McFarlane Toys that we do have. So finally, let's go ahead and move on to our next toy company here, and that is the Loyal Subjects, because last week in a toy magazine we did get some new image shots of their IDW Ninja Turtles. So this will actually be the first toy company tackling the IDW Ninja Turtles. We have the Playmates that's based off the original Playmates toys. We have the Super 7 based off the original Playmate toys, just done on a larger scale. And we have the NECA movie line, cartoon line, comic book line, video game line, any other line, but we don't have an IDW line. And so Loyal Subjects is coming at us with 2 offerings to start off with, and that is Raphael and Leonardo, and they both come with their cycles. So that's pretty fucking cool, and I'm really hoping to get in touch with them so I can try and get a first-hand review for you guys, so I can go ahead and check those out and you guys can see them first off. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and actually flip this over, because we have some more news to talk about before we get to the bottom portion. But the bottom portion is just so large, I want to save that for last. Because Star Wars Black Series did have one announcement this week, and I officially think that the team at Hasbro that controls Star Wars is smoking crack. I thoroughly believe they are on some hardcore drugs at this point, because they announced an Amazon exclusive 2-pack carbonized Ned B and Purge Trooper. Keep in mind, guys, it's windowless packaging, so they save money on that. It's 2 figures they've already previously released and made money. One of them being a deluxe, one of them being a gaming grades, meaning they charged more for it. So they already had the molds for it. And carbonize is just a fancy paint job. So you get all of this for the very, very affordable price of $75. Yes, guys, $75 fucking dollars for 2 figures we've already gotten in windowless packaging with just a fancy new paint coat. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're fully on crack or something at this point, because $75 for these 2 figures, that is absolutely astronomical, nonsensical, and why I am out of Black Series completely and have shifted my focus to buying Hot Toy Star Wars characters, because that is absolutely atrocious. And so, sticking with shifting my funds from Black Series to Hot Toys, let's go ahead and talk about the new Hot Toys Paz Vizsla, based off his appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. So yes, this week they did announce their new Paz Vizsla from his appearance on the Book of Boba Fett, and he does come with all those great new accessories and stuff that we did see him utilize in the Book of Boba Fett that we didn't see him utilize in season 1 or 2 of Mando. So yeah, that wraps it up for 1/6 news, but let's go ahead and swing back around to last week because I did happen to miss Mafex, and I'm super excited about that Batman that they are releasing on the horse. Yes, if you look back at the comic, it is not the same costume that he was wearing in that panel, but we have already gotten that Batman from Mafex. So this, in my opinion, was just their way of saying, well, here's this version of the suit, and you get a horse as well. And so I'm super excited about that because while I do have that suit in blue, it will be really great to have it in that black and gray scheme and the blue and gray scheme combined. So super awesome. I cannot wait till that is released. But with that being said, let's go ahead and turn the page back around and talk about Marvel Legends, guys, because they had a live stream, and much like McFarlane and their showcase, they essentially had their own showcase with all the reveals and stuff that they showed off in this live stream, guys. So you had close to 20 reveals at this point. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20, and that's just counting actual packs, because out of those 20, 4 of them were like multi-packs, or I'm sorry, not 4 of them, but like 6 of them were multi-packs. So that's a good percentage of them being multi-packs. So if we were really to break it down, in total, Marvel Legends announced 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 24 24 full figures, but 25 full announcements in total. So yeah, shit ton of plastic, guys. So why don't we go ahead and start off with their 60th anniversary announcements, kicking off with, of course, Iron Man and his Mark 1. So while we recently got the MCU Mark 1 in that Legends 2-pack, we are now getting the comic book version of the Iron Man Mark 1 in the Marvel Legends line. Next up, we are getting an homage to the cover of the original Hulk with the Hulk and Bruce Banner 2-pack, with them in the original color schemes. Next up, after them, we are getting Hawkeye and the Sky Cycle, and the team did mention that there is room for another figure on the back. Next up, we are getting Secret Wars, Doctor Doom and Monica 2-pack, and this is the first of many 2-pack, and we all know what those 2-packs go for nowadays. I think it's like $75 at this point, so yeah. May God have mercy on your wallets, Marvel Legend collectors. Next up, we get another 2-pack in Siri and the Black Knight. So add that to the list. And next up, they kind of take a break from the 2-packs, and they also have announced a new female, more dynamic body. And so the first figure that we will be getting on said dynamic body is none other than, of course, Black Widow herself. So that is a phenomenal character to introduce this new, more dynamic female body, because she has such dynamic posing. And so this will be a really good way to show it off and test it out. So after her, we are getting Bucky Cap, which should be somewhat exciting because it was the Bucky Cap mold from the last Bucky Cap that we got that pretty much is the body that we get for the majority of the male figures in the Marvel Legends wave. So this updated Bucky Cap body should go a long way in terms of helping the other male figures in the Marvel Legends lines. Next up, we are getting a Skrull Queen and Super Skrull 2-pack. So another 2-pack right there. And the final 2-pack in the 60th anniversary category is Bearded Thor and Destroyer. So just in the 60th anniversary line, wave, whatever you want to call it, we do get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-packs, guys, plus Hawkeye and the Sky Scooter, I don't know, or the Sky Cycle, sorry. I'm it's pretty much a 2-pack at this point. So yeah, that's about 6 2-packs right there just in that alone. Plus, we are also getting a 12-inch Super Adaptoid, whatever, whoever that is. But yeah, so that, of course, being a deluxe size figure, will also run you a deluxe size price. So that wraps it up for their 60th anniversary line. They did announce 2 new figures in their Spider Man the Animated Series line, and it is a 2-pack of course, Aunt May and Doc Ock. Now, this Doc Ock looks absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love this interpretation of Doc Ock. And this one does, in fact, come with the bendy wire arm, guys. I absolutely love the animated series Spider Man. I grew up watching it, and so this Doc is very, very tempting. Even though I don't even have an animated style Spider Man, this Doc Ock brings back so many memories, and absolutely love it. The only thing stopping me is the fact that it is a 2-pack with Aunt May. While I do love the show, I I I just don't need an Aunt May in my collection, in my opinion. Especially an animated one, where if it was a realistic MCU one, at least I can have her in the background running or utilize her for different kinds of shots like that. But with her being in that specific animated style, I can't even use her for background shots. So, last up, they did announce a new Spidey Wave. So, we are getting a new Ben Riley, as well as a evil Ben Riley in the form of Chasm. And I guess he's a character. I don't know. I've never really heard of this character. I've heard of Ben Riley, but I've never heard of Chasm. We are also getting a new outfit, Miles Morales, in this line. It is a very unique, different looking Miles, but a new one nonetheless. A while back, they did show off a tease of a Rose, and well, that essentially led to a Rose figure. So we are getting Rose in this collection. We are also getting Jessica Drews, aka Spider Woman, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments. As well as Elektra as Daredevil. This was a time when I think Daredevil was missing or presumed dead, and Elektra took up the mantle as Daredevil. We are also getting Tarantula, and I don't like the spider itself, so this is definitely a figure that I'm not going to be adding to my collection, whoever this is. This is one of those characters that I've never heard of, like, just never. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Tarantula, he's coming to your Marvel Legends collection. So, the final announcement that they did make was that the new HasLab will be based around the Avengers. No other information off that, just that. And so I'm sure in the next live stream they'll tease something else, or the next live stream will be the announcement for said HasLab. Last up, let's go ahead and talk about some Diamond Select news. So shout out and thank you to my friends over at Diamond Select, especially their marketing manager, Zach O, for sending me over all the information and images for this section of the news. Just some in-stock news, just 3 things. We do have 2 new gallery statues in stock, that being, ironically enough, a Doc Ock statue in their gallery line, as well as a MCU Scarlet Witch. And the last thing in stock this week is a 1/6 scale mini bust of Bo-Katan. The gallery statues will each run you $60, while the Bo-Katan statue is priced at $120. So, with that being said, guys, that wraps it up for this week's toy news. And man, oh man, has it ramped up. There's a lot of great toys out there, guys. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of great toys out there. Just as with everything, money is money. You know, it's not endless. It's not something that just grows on trees. And with me expanding into quarter scales and 1/6 scales and soft gooded 1/12 scales, it's really taken me away from regular standard 1/12 collecting. And so it's kind of good, kind of bad. I still enjoy seeing all these new toys, but I don't really enjoy collecting them as much as I used to. Not the budget ones, at least. You know, it's like when budget ones are starting to go down in quality and QC and everything, and they still are kind of inching their prices up, like Star Wars Black Series. $75 for those 2 figures, and I guarantee you, well, I don't guarantee you, I'm telling you, they don't even come with a bunch of accessories. Maybe Ned B comes with like what his hammer and stuff, and then the Purge Trooper comes with the one blaster of that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I'd rather spend that 75 on a $120+ figure, knowing I'm getting more in terms of detail, quality, and accessories. So that's just my take on it. Now, obviously, not everybody can do this, and maybe you just pick and choose on the budget figures, which is totally fine. I do the same as well on certain ones. Like I said, those McFarlane statues look really good. When they do give us a Keaton Batman, I will pick that up, and I will pick up the Nightfall one eventually if it's on a good sale on Amazon. But there's just a lot of stuff in that area that I'm trying to stay away from, so that way I can save my money personally and put it towards other more expensive releases that are more far and few. I'll admit they're far and fewer, but they're better in my opinion. They fit better for my budget. I'd rather buy these figures far and few than to pick up new figures every week that I'm just like, man, the quality just isn't quite there. And especially for me being a toy photographer and living in a single bedroom as I do and collecting in a single bedroom as I do, it's very hard to keep pulling space out of my ass. And so with space being limited and funds being limited in terms of me going to every which way and scales and whatnot, I've really had to pull back. But like I said, I still absolutely love discussing the new toys that are coming out, and I still absolutely love the way they look, the way they're going, the sculpt and everything, and potentially even picking a few of them up myself. But as the case may be, like even with Holothon, I had my friend Robert pick up the Triceratops, and today I told him, you know what, just go ahead and return it, because I have some other purchases that I'd rather put that money towards, and you'll see those next week. But yeah, I picked up a few things, and I was like, you know what, instead of spending that 50 on a single figure here, I'd rather spend it on here and get so much more in terms of quality and detail. Not that that's a bad figure in terms of quality and detail, because in the reviews that I've seen of it, it's a phenomenal figure. It's just one of those figures that I know I'm gonna review, take a photo, maybe take my Mirage knockoff turtles down for a photo or two, and then stick it on a shelf and really never pull it back down again. So I figured, why spend the money on it and just go ahead and return it and put the money towards something else, which I am super excited about, which you will see here on the table next week. Is just I'm going to be picking him up tonight, so obviously he wasn't going to be here in time for this week's episode, but next week's they'll be here on the table. So super excited about that, but that's for next week, guys. So as always, thank you for spending time with me on this podcast. As always, I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to take time to talk some toys with me. As always, thank you and shout out to channel sponsor Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate down in the description below to check out all kinds of cool figures and help support the channel. With that being said, I've been your host, Jesse the Bad Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And as always, have a great fucking day. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at Cool Figures. And I do also have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by Cool Figures. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys like unboxings, check me out over on TikTok at Cool Figures. That's where I post all of my unboxings. And check me out every Sunday for Coffee and Toys, a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, weekly toy haul, and so much more. And join me every Wednesday over on Instagram for Coffee and Toys Live, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy hunting, toy photography, and so much more. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it.